Hello guys, the time has come. We're here for the mid-year freak-out tag. Oh my god, if I actually think about it for too long, I will start freaking out the fact that it's June. Oh, not my best year, to be honest, so I'm glad with like where I'm at now. Rough start to the year for sure. It's gotten a little bit better, and I've enjoyed reading again, which is like the big win for the year. Is I've had really successful reading months, these past 2 months at least, and we're on track for June to be good as well. So, lovely for me. A lot of these books, if not all of these books, have been read in the last 2 months. So, that goes to show just how good last April may have been. So, with that said, let us just begin and start talking about the tag questions. I have done this for many years. I think this is my 3rd or 4th mid-freakout tag, which is wild, and I'm prepared. I'm ready. I've got answers for the most part. So the first question, of course, is what is the best book you've read so far in 2024? Y'all, I am more surprised than anyone else here. Somehow, Kaikei has become the best book I've read. I don't know how it happened. It just sort of did. I have put this off basically since owning it. This came out in April of 2022. And I got it for Book of the Month, as you can see. And I said, no. She's chunky. She's historical. I'm not gonna like it. I don't know anything about it. It's something like not necessarily out of my comfort zone, but I just knew very little going into it. Except for that, like, I knew Kayla liked it. So I was like, okay, well, something about it must be fine then. But also, Kayla and I don't always agree on books. So I was so hesitant. And finally, after months of putting this on the TBR, I finally was able to read it. The amount of Libby skips I've did on this audiobook for it to turn out to be the best book I've read so far this year, it's an injustice. I've done a crime. Take me away. Like, I don't know how we got here, but this book is so freaking good. Can I tell you a plot? No. And this, we're following Kaikei, and she is such a wonderful protagonist to follow. What an amazing character she is. She has secret powers. She lives with her father, her brother, and we start the book with her being very young and the exilation. We start with her mother being exiled from their kingdom, and we don't really, like, we know kind of why. And when Kaikei finds out, it's devastating for her and her many brothers. She is the only sister in the family, the only female, and she takes up the role of like head of house. She fills that mom kind of position and does a lot of like the womanly duties in the house. We see her constantly I don't know how to explain this book without like just telling you the entire book. I'm really struggling with that right now. Basically, she is fighting for her rights as a woman and just like going against the status quo. She's got secret magic that she found. It's really cool. I really love the magic system in this. It's very unique and interesting. And she gets married to this guy. I don't know if he'll be in. Yeah. So the synopsis is really just the beginning of the book. So I don't really know how to like tell you, but basically she gets married to this guy, she becomes a wife, and you just see her life. I'm explaining this so bad. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to do this book the justice that it deserves. Just know that I loved it. I adored this. It is the best book that I've read. The writing was stunning. I loved the characters so much. There's so much connection and family and just, oh, this is really good, okay? It's really good. I have nothing else to say about it, but it's just, it's so good. It's so good. Oh, my heart. Okay, anyways, moving on. The next question is, what's the best sequel read in 2024 so far? And funnily enough, I have been on a weird binging series kick, mostly romantasy, but like even with normal fantasy, like if I'm able to, I've been jumping into the next book. I've been really grinding my way through sounds a little bit silly, but I've been working my way through like my manga series and like actually putting in the time and effort to just read them. I know, what a revolutionary concept, but I think for this, I have many answers, but I think out of all the sequels that I've read, Vows of Ruin has been my favorite. This is the second book to Blood and Steel. It is the second book in the Legend of Thesmar series. It's fantasy romance, and the second book had me just like giggling and kicking my feet constantly because it's probably got the most romance in it, and I just really love these characters together, but especially the friend found family dynamic. It reminds me of a lot of books that I really truly love, and so it makes me feel very like safe and at home reading the series because I know kind of what to expect, especially in that first book, Blood and Steel. And so yeah, finishing and like listening to Vows and Ruin, I was just like, ooh, the whole time, and I really enjoyed it. So I think that's gonna probably be my best sequel, but following that would probably be Cat and Gamer because I'm really loving that manga series. I hope the 5th one gets translated soon. And also I really enjoyed the sequel to The Bridge Kingdom, which is The Inadequate Heir. No, it's The Traitor Queen. There it is. The Inadequate Heir is like the 3rd book, but it follows a different couple, and I was very sad and disappointed. But I really enjoyed The Traitor Queen. I really loved the desert scenes. I didn't realize how much I enjoyed desert fantasy until that moment. I was like, oh, wait, this is kind of something. It's kind of giving. So I was really excited about that. Ooh, new release that you have not read yet. I really want to read The Island Witch by Amanda Giatissa, I think. I recommended this to the library dweller. She's like, I need my 12 friends, recommend my 12 books. And for whatever reason, I was like, this is the one. This is the one I'm going to start recommending people. This is the same author who wrote You're Invited, which is a wedding mystery thriller. Very different vibe. And yet somehow, I'm really interested in Island Witch. I don't really remember what it's about. I haven't read it, so I couldn't tell you. But I know that it's more magical, I think. I think there's a little bit more of a twist to it that I'm not expecting, but I don't know. I don't know. Most anticipated book for the second half of the year. Your girl, she just got approved on NetGalley for This Ravenous Fate by Haley. Oh my god! Haley is getting published. Haley is doing the thing. The book comes out in September. There's something so special about seeing fellow booktubers, especially a booktuber that I've been watching for years, make it into publishing and like write a book, duology even, a sapphic vampire romance type of story. I'm so freaking eager. So I'm gonna be reading that as soon as I'm able to squeeze it in to my reading. I've got a lot going on this month, but I will definitely be reading it before it comes out. I've also pre-ordered The 13th Child by Erin A. Craig. If you didn't know, I've got my little like shrine over there to her books. One of my favorite authors ever of all time. I've loved everything they've put out. Everything has been 5 stars. I'm so freaking pumped for more books. I know that there's The 13th Child coming out this year. I know she's got a 2025 release and I think a 2026 release. So like it's a good time for me to be live. And then the last one that I'm like probably most excited for, which I was denied an ARC for, which is fine, is Don't Let the Forest In. I don't remember the author off the top of my head, but like this cover alone is so good and I'm very excited. It's dark academia, it's horror, it's probably gothic, and it just looks stunning. And back to the books that I have read. The next question is, what was the most disappointing? And I'm so sorry to say, but I'm the minority in this, but A Tempest of Tea by Hassa Faisal has not led me astray. I did not really enjoy this. I didn't really like it very much. I was not interested in our characters. I was severely lacking in like the vampire department. I was really hoping for a story set in this tea house that was also like a blood house and like having that atmosphere, and instead this was a heist book, which is what it is, but it didn't work for me. I didn't like the characters enough. The romances felt very weirdly forced, and I didn't love the characters overall, just in general. They weren't my favorite. And also, I don't know if I like heists in my book. I've read 2 this year, and neither were really big successes for me, so maybe that's just like something I'm learning about my reading taste. It's not something I pick up. It sounds fun in theory, and everybody loves Six of Crows, which I haven't read, but that's also like a heist story, and so I'm like, oh no. Oh no. But yeah, this one was a bit of a letdown. In this we have 3 POVs out of our 5 characters who are all absolutely frickin' stunning, and we're following them as their tea house by day, blood house by night has been, I don't know the right word, but like it's on the radar of the guards, and vampires are a big no-no in this world. And we've got this ragtag team that are deciding to do a heist together. That's basically the whole thing. So, I don't know. I liked it enough that I'm intrigued to continue. If it's a duology, I would be interested in reading the sequel. Mainly because I think there could be strong character development, especially with how, like, the cliffhanger ended. I don't know. We will have to wait and see, but we'll see. Next question's biggest surprise of the year, and of course, like, Heike is that surprise because who would have thought? But another fun surprise. Ashley gifted this to me, and I've never been so grateful. This is Vita Nostra, and wow, 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 wow. What a weird little book. I will soon be reading the sequel, which I didn't know existed until very, very recently. But I will be reading the sequel, which I'm very excited about because this ended in a way that I was like, ambiguous ending, who? So this is a weird dark academia story set in Russia. These are 2 Ukrainian married authors, very sweet. In this we're following Sasha, and Sasha is like just a girl out of high school trying to go to college, like trying to just live her best life. And on this beach vacation, this man is just being a weirdo, and one event leads to another. She ends up at this institute for like the special technologies, and it's so weird, but the obsession with academia and studying and being perfect and getting it right, and like it's definitely like that like gifted student type of feel where it's just like I have to be perfect at everything, I have to ace it, and it's just like a weird madness type of story, but also like the connections with the different characters is really sweet, and I really like all of them, and it's just weird. And I can't spoil it because there's like a massive thing to this book if you haven't read it that's like, huh? What? That makes it more fantastical, but it was so interesting and fun, and I'm really excited to see what's in store with the sequel. The sequel came out like way later, it seems, and I'm very interested to see how it's going to compare, where it's going to pick up. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I'm hoping to get a few answers from it, but that's Vita Nostra. So the next question is if I have a new favorite author, who is it? And I don't think, here's the thing, there's so many authors out in the world, and I love so many of them, and I enjoy being a part of this world in which I get to read books for all of eternity, until my last breath. Anyway, this got really dark and convoluted for no reason. To say that, I have been reading a lot of new authors and less repeat authors. I don't typically tend to pick up a lot of the same authors unless it's somebody like I'm really interested in, or like a series or something, which doesn't really count in my eyes. So for this, it's maybe not so much a new favorite author, but is an author I'm definitely keeping my eyes on and very excited about. And that is Sarah Hesham. This is the, oh no, I've always said Jasad Hair. I literally like watched the author pronounce it, and then I was like, I've been saying it wrong, and now I can't remember. So I'm sorry, but this is the Jasad Hair, and I loved this book. I wouldn't say it's a perfect debut, but it really worked for me. I really enjoyed the writing. I loved these characters. I loved the world. There's like a little hint of a trial towards the end. There's secret air. There's magic. There's the funnest love interest type of character. The banter in this was really fun. I really enjoyed this world and this writing and everything about the Jasad Hair. It really worked for me. With that said, it came out last year in 2023, and I don't have a sequel still, and I'm really upset about it, and I have been stalking the author's Instagram for just any news, just anything to say, yeah, it's coming, yeah, this is what it is. I want to say this is going to be a trilogy, but holy cow, this was such a ride. So in this we are following Sylvia. Sylvia has lived a little quaint life in this village lately with her 2 friends, helping out at the orphanage, working with this guy and doing tasks for him. I don't fully understand what her job is, but it's a very cute village. They have this festival. Things are fine. Things are good, but she has a secret. she has magic. And magic is a big old no-no because magic means that you are tied to the Lost Kingdom, basically. She kind of slips up a couple times at the beginning, and one event leads to another, and she becomes the champion for the Nizal? I'm sorry, this is Egyptian fantasy and I know very little of anything. But his name is Aaron, and he's the Nizal heir, and he kind of takes her as his champion. She's going to be in his trials, they're going to train. Yeah. And then, like, that's what happens, is they train, secrets happen, betrayals, so on and so forth, pawns, games, political fantasy, you get the gist. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I had so much fun. Yes, I recommend it highly, even though I know the sequel isn't out yet, but I do recommend it very highly. It is the royally booked pick for this month. It's on Fable. So the next question is newest fictional crush, which I'm not like a big crush girly. I don't really have the fandom tendencies in me anymore. I think I've relinquished that feeling and have really let it go. I say that, but I still obsess over things. It's different. Like, I have hyperfixations on things, but eventually, like, I can move on. I don't have the same, I don't know. Maybe that's all One Direction was just a weird hyperfixation. Anyways, not deep diving into that one because I don't want to use my brain cells that hard, but my newest fictional crush, if you will, is Gideon from the Crimson Moth. He is such a sweetie. So the Crimson Moth is fantasy with romance. We've got our girl Rune, who is a witch in this world where witches are outlawed. Do you see a theme in my reading? Who knew? And she is secret witch, but also secret Crimson Moth, which she's like helping the witches that get taken and so on and so forth. And she's got a little bit of an enemies to lovers, nemesis, best friend's brother. It's a lot of things, but her and Gideon are complete opposites. She's a witch, he's a witch hunter. They're kind of fake dating. They're kind of got a bit of a fake courting going on as each of them try to use each other kind of to hide what's going on with themselves and also get secrets and fun things like that. Gideon is such a sweet cinnamon roll. He's so kind, and when he said, I want to make her a dress, I jaw dropped. I was dead. It was so sweet, and I love that moment, and that will probably stick with me for a very long time. The next question is, who is your newest favorite character? And I've got to go with Muriel. She's so good. So I read The Horror this year. Finally finished it. It took me a while to really get into it and pick it up consistently, but once I did, I was so in it. And Muriel, what a woman. What a woman. Muriel, Margaret Macaulay, is so fun. She's an elderly character. She's the main character in this horror book where she's like one of the few still remaining in this Scottish like fishing village, and this like big American billionaire has come and he's like, I'm gonna buy the land, I'm gonna turn it into a golf course, suck it up, Buttercup. And she's like, or not. And it gets dark and gruesome, but I love it so much. And there's like this magical element with this creature that comes from the horror, and it's incredible. And Muriel is so strong and powerful. Like, if I'm not that when I'm 80 years old, I don't want any of it. I don't want to be anything else. She's the type of old character that like you would see hitting somebody down the street with a cane. Like, I love the energy. Incredible. Like, so sweet and caring, but also like feisty. Oh, she's wonderful. So the next is a book that made you cry. Oh, I sobbed. I sobbed like a baby. There are very few books that I've cried so hard to, and this is probably like second or third place out of all the books that I've read and cried to. I sobbed. It wasn't even like, I don't know why I cried. I was just really emotional by the end. I was very invested in these characters and what was going on, and it just touched me in a way that I was sobbing. Oh, it was so fun though. I had such a good time. And then we've got the question number, 11? Question 11 is a book that made you happy. And I'm going with just kind of in general the Mortal Fates series. We've got the two novellas, this first book and then the second book recently has come out. I kicked my feet. This is enemies to lovers. It's witches versus fae. It's prejudice and hatred and war. It's dark, it's grim, but yet it's so beautiful and light. And I love Rook. She's also like another character that I just really love and adore and have been really enjoyed my time with and journey with. And these books have me kicking my little feet. I kick my feet. I have so much fun. They're chunky, and I've enjoyed every second I've spent with these characters just devouring. Truly, I've just had so much fun. This is basically following Rook, and she is following her fate to marry the Savage Prince Soren, who is like the Fae Prince. Once he gets married to Rook, our Ravenswood mother, they can eventually hopefully get the kingdom, but there is a lot of politics and betrayal and things going on, and also she's a witch, witches sorry. The Fae are currently in war against this Carl Boggs guy, and he's leading a bunch of witches, and they're taking back the land, and it's this like really horrible thing. And so he's like, ooh, witch is bad, so she bad. And then, you know, it's them working together but also hating each other and having to figure it out. It's just a good time, and I highly recommend it. I'm so excited for the third book. Who knows when it's gonna happen, but I'm excited for it when it does. Okay, the next question does not apply to me, and it's favorite adaptation that I've seen so far this year, and I don't think I've watched any adaptations. I haven't watched a lot of movies and TVs, especially this year. I watched a lot of reality TV, but that's not inspired by nothing, so I don't have an answer. I'm sorry. If you have adaptations that you think are very good, let me know. I know that I need to get on the Bridgerton season 3 hype. Next question is a fun little personal one, and it's my favorite post for this year. I've really been enjoying my recent uploads. I've just been having a lot of fun creating content and like getting out of my little mental health rut and getting out of being sick for sure. Oh, it sucks, but I've really enjoyed my recent videos. I had a lot of fun with my spinner wheel vlog, even though it ended on a sick note. I loved it. I had so much fun with it. I really enjoyed letting fate decide what I read and enjoying most of the books. They were all at like 4 stars or higher. So it was just a really fun time for me. But I've also been enjoying getting back into sit-down content, shorter form content, challenges. I did the Do I Have That Book tag / challenge, and it was so much fun. I'm really excited to do the second version of that soon. It's been a lot of fun. I'm having fun. Next is the most beautiful book you've gotten this year, and I'm gonna go with The Last Blood Carver by Vanessa Lay. I just think this is so pretty. This is the Owl Crate edition. Oh, she's stunning. It's just everything that I've needed. It's so pretty. It's so the book. It just really fits the vibe and aesthetics for it, and I'm really happy to have read this so soon. In this, we are following our main character, Nika, and she is a blood carver, in disguise, hidden, but she gets captured by the butchers, which is like a black market trade situation, and she gets sold to the highest bidder. Luckily for her though, she gets sold to this family who just need answers. Their family friend is in a coma, and they know that she, as a blood carver, can actually, they're basically like better than doctors. It's a very hard magic system to explain. Even the book has a hard time explaining it, but like it makes sense when you read it. But basically they're hoping that Nika can help with healing him from this coma. Like, they've exhausted all of their options, so the outlawed practice of blood carvers that have just really been dying out because of colonization and everything, it's well done. It's packaged so well, so short. The ending, fair warning guys, it's not, oh, it hurts. The ending hurts. I'm so excited for the sequel. I think it's just gonna be a duology, and oh boy, I'm really excited for it. So yeah, highly recommend. And then the final question is, what do you really need to read by the end of the year? And if you had seen in January, I put out a video announcing a Red Rising read-along. Guess who didn't do that? Me. So I would like to reform that now that I know, one, the final book in the Red Rising saga did get pushed, so it's coming out in sometime 2025, and so it kind of was like, it worked out that it's getting pushed. A lot of people have been reading Red Rising. It's very popular. It's an incredible book. I'm excited to do my reread. It'll probably be June or July that I start the Red Rising saga again and pick it back up. But also, Eliza is currently the co-host, but there's also, you know, life things happening behind the scenes for us all, and so I don't know what it's going to look like right now, but I do really want to have at least a mini read along. It doesn't have to be serious or anything. I'll probably still do live shows leading up, but I would very much like to finish the Red Rising saga up to date by the end of this year, and I think that's pretty doable. So that's kind of my big plans for things that I would really like to read and get done. So if you're still interested in the Red Rising read along, let me know. I've seen people that have joined the Discord probably for that purpose. I'll talk to Eliza here soon and see what's going on there. I know that Daphne's gonna read the first book with us at the very least, so it's gonna be very fun. I just gotta coordinate a little bit and plan for that and prepare for it. It's been hard with so many read-alongs happening, and I was in my busy season. I don't know why I thought I could do a read-along in my busiest season at work. That was just not correct for my noggin, but now that I'm prepared and in the right place for it, I'm very excited to jump back into the Red Rising world and continue. Oh god, I simply just cannot wait to see how it's going to conclude, where we're going to go from here. So yes, that's something that I would really like to get to, along with any challenges. My 12 friends recommend 12 books, 24 books in 2024, our fantasy, all of the things I still also would like to get to and finish. But that's going to be it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed. Let me know what your best book of the year so far is. I need to know. What have you read that's knocked your socks off? Best book? Incredible? I would love to know. I know that a lot of people have been in a 5-star drought this year. This year's been a little rough in the reading world, so I hope it's been going really well for you. And I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye!